Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast, aka the Pup List. We're a Green Bay Packers fan podcast that brings you topical and relevant Packers news, along with our most humble, subjective opinions. This is episode 323. We're recording this live tonight on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. It's the third week of training camp. It's coming to an end. We'll get to the loss of the Packers to the Jets in the first preseason game, and the mounting injuries. I think the three words would be best to describe this as defeat, injury, and then compete. A reminder: this is up on YouTube, so if you're just listening to the podcast, head over to our YouTube channel to check things out. I'm your host Tay, and wanting to get in here is our own
Ren. What up, Tay? Yeah, it's third week of training camp, and not all the guys are here would be the way to put that one, because it's a bit of a injury unit over there, Tay, and it just seems the list seems to get longer every day. Although we'll get to it a little later today. Saw a few faces return, so a little positivity, Tay, at the very least with the injury front. But it's not looked good, Tay. Honestly, you go to that preseason game, I'd rather be, this should be the Brewers Universe podcast tonight. I'd rather go with the Bup List and talk some Baruchu ball, Tay, than have to revisit what was an awful preseason game on Saturday night, to the point where I did, Brewers are on, let's switch this off for a bit. It did come back to it, but man, that was a tough watch, and the Brewers are certainly a much more fun talking point with getting the George Webb burgers today, Tay, and winning 27 of the last 30 games, Tay. That's a pretty incredible run by the Brew Crew.
That's crazy. That's good.
What do you want to talk about with the Packers?
I mean, are you saying that you want to do a Brewers Universe podcast?
I mean, at this point, I'm
not qualified. I'm not qualified.
No, you really are not, but you should jump on that bandwagon. I know you're not a baseball guy. I know your dad's a bit into it, but you are missing an unprecedented run by this team, literally in their team history. It's nuts.
Is it? They just won tonight. That's 12 in a row, right?
12 in a row, correct. And shortly before that, they had an 11-game winning streak, Tay. So, yeah, that's how you win 27 of 30. It's incredible.
Well, I am not much of a Brewers fan. MLB fan. But what I do know, Ren, is that you never get your hopes up during the regular season. Am I right?
Wisconsin sports fans, we know, Packer fans, Brewer fans, you get your hopes up only to lose in heartbreak in the postseason. That is what we know well in the state of Wisconsin when it comes to the postseason, be it with our Green Bay Packers or certainly the Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, well, let's move on to the negativity here, Ren. Preseason first game, home opener preseason, last Saturday night, 7:00, kind of prime time, right? It was a bit of an embarrassment. A lifeless Packers team came out sleeping on the Jets, the Jets looked ready to fight and to play.
Yep.
They looked like they were playing up to their expectations, which is to go out there and compete, even in a preseason game. But, where's the life here from the Packers? Where's the passion, the motivation, the conviction to win, or at least make yourself look good? They showed up hoping this would get over with as soon as possible. And that's exactly what it looked like. Offensive holding galore, dropped passes, special team mistakes, general efforts and concern was just missing. But I loved it. Picking up going into the second half, the halftime interview with Matt LaFleur, he says to the reporter coming out of the locker room, he's like, this is quote, bottom line, we've made some mistakes in every facet of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. I want to see some fight out of these guys. It doesn't look like we're playing very inspired football. Man, that is so true. When I heard him say that, I was like, yes, finally, you're putting words to my feelings right now, Matt, so thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that was just the halftime run. Oh, so I know it's preseason.
Yeah, there was another 30 minutes to watch of that abomination, no doubt.
So I know, like, yeah, it's preseason. It doesn't mean anything. Whatever. They're not like looking at all, certain things that we are as fans. But really, I mean, this is a performance review. If you're at a real job, this is a performance review. You might not get fired, but your job is being judged here. And coming out as a team like this, like, okay, maybe take away 10% of them. We'll get to who was good in a minute, but just in general, it's like, it's embarrassing. You shouldn't have that. I know it's a preseason game, and it doesn't matter. But come on, like, show up, right? Like, how did you feel after that? And do you care?
It's not alarm bells to me, Tay. No, I mean,
No, I know.
certainly, going into this week, it gives them a lot to work on.
Yeah.
From the inspired football piece to anything and everything that didn't go right, which is just about everything. If they play like that, uninspired in the regular season, yeah, you'll get your ass kicked 30-10 every time, and you just hope it's a factor of a lot of preseasonness to it. But I mean, Tay, speaking of inspired, the Jets obviously were. I mean, they're playing their first ever game with Aaron Glenn as head coach, and they played just kind of like the Detroit defense we've seen in the past plays. They came out, they played their ass off, and yeah, that Jets D was, ready to go and certainly go out and win a game for their head coach and his first ever coaching victory. Be it, albeit preseason or not. But for the Packers, for a guy who's been there 7 years, Matt LaFleur, it seemed more like kind of a ho hum. This is just a tune up. We're getting a look at some guys. And they do that. They run base offensive concepts and base defensive concepts, and they don't really give you much more than that. And not to say the Jets did. They did a little bit, but the Jets just played all their basic concepts so much better, and certainly showed that at least with the defensive unit that they were, heads and tails, ahead of the Packers at this point of where they're at. So, the drops returned, shocker there. I think the big shocker to me today was the Mecole Hardman stuff. I mean, he's looked great in camp, doing exactly what he needs to do in the special teams thing. And then I hope you saw it, but the first one, it's inside the 10 and he catches it, doesn't call fair catch and takes the hit. You're like, what are you doing there? But, and then later you get the muff. Like, you have no business. Get the hell away from that football, Like, he didn't cost his potential roster spot there, but he has one more bad. He's basically got to have two good preseason games with, the special teams, especially because that's how he makes the roster, or he doesn't. That's the crazy part. I don't know how he played that bad. It would just incredible.
That's what we always kind of thought. Like, I thought he was going to make the roster probably hands down, no problem. But now I'm like, ugh. I'm kind of with everyone else early when we signed him that this guy's kind of he has to compete for a roster spot, and I was kind of like, whatever, he's got it locked in. But now I'm like, oh, this is how you lose your job as a veteran wide receiver, special teams player. But all the reports are, he'll bounce back. He's going to do better, and he's learned a lot. It's like, okay, whatever. Well, show us, right? Show us.
Yeah.
But that offensive line discipline, Ren, was a killer. I mean, they were killing drives left and right with those offensive line holding penalties, and it's that stuff, right? Like, you can run vanilla offense, defense all you want, but come on, get your mind in the game. Like, and in the end, it's the first preseason game, and we're gonna go into the Colts this week. Hopefully to do better, and there's a lot to work on, and you kind of want your team to be in this position to a degree, but you also want them to be confident in what they can do and not doubt themselves.
For sure.
Coming off a loss like this, which was embarrassing. It truly was. As a Packers fan, you're like, oh my God, that was horrible.
Without that awesome run, and it was awesome. The block by Clifford on it, and the block by Belton on it for Amar Johnson was fantastic. But that was one play. That was basically the only good play of the game. Without that, the Packers were, with that, I should say, they were 2-1 in yardage in favor of the Jets. I mean, the Jets just put on, a show of offense where the Packers, barely broke, what was it, 170? And again, without that run, it's like, a tick over 100. So it would have been nearly 3-1. So just not a good day. Jacob Monk can't play offensive line today. He can't make the roster. There's no way. He's awful today. Um, and Zach Tom, just gave him the $30 million signing bonus, 31 point whatever, and woof. I mean, you never seen a guy of his talent play so poorly. I don't know what his problem was, but and you just chalk it up to that's just one day and it's a preseason game. But man, oh man,
Wow.
it just did not look good.
Tom was the one involved in that fight early on too, where he's swinging, and it was offsetting penalties. But it's like, okay, dude, you just got paid. Like, set an example for your team, and I don't know. To me, that little scrimmage there, that little fight was useless, pointless. It was early. You didn't need to do it. So I don't know. And then it was just a little embarrassing from my point of view. But with with a lot of negativity that you can put towards the Packers, just some highlights quick. You mentioned it, running back Amar Johnson. He had a few longer runs. He was breaking tackles, and then he had that touchdown run, which was great. Jordan Morgan was good. He was great in pass pro. On the defensive side of the ball, Colby Wooden, he was doing great run stopping. You saw a lot out of Tyron Hopper. Gosh. And he had 9 tackles, I believe, no misses. He got a lot of playing time. So I really love seeing him play. Finally getting to see this second-year player we have in this for the linebacking core. And then also JJ Enigbare, he was solid. He also played a lot, but helped indeed in stopping the run. So there were some players that shined. I didn't cover them all.
Baron Sorrell had a nice game, which you like to see, given the, the depth they don't have there with regard to rushing the quarterback, So
I don't know. I'm just kind of definitely want to move on from that game.
Yeah, but it's a tough one, Tay. Speaking of depth, too, and something that came to mind today on an offshoot, not really to do with this game. The only other thing I want to say is obviously they came out fairly clean, which was good, other than we're going to talk about the thumb, obviously, and then Zane Anderson. So those are the two main pieces, unfortunately, that came out of that. And before that, we find out, obviously, Jaden Reed's in a boot. No bueno. So he's not hitting the rest of the preseason or any other practice until the regular season starts, and maybe not even ready then. That's crazy town. But another guy that hasn't played, I think, all camp, Colin Oliver. They spent a 5th-round pick on this guy. He was kind of, remember, a tweener. Is he a linebacker? Is he going to rush the quarterback? I don't know how that guy makes the team. I mean, certainly maybe you pup him to start the year so you don't have to waste the roster spot. But, man, that guy's just been nowhere, and I think it's been a hamstring the whole time. So,
well, let's transition to that. I mean, let's do the injury report, because we got kind of a laundry list again, and that is one of the main things happening right now. But way on the right side of this, Colin Oliver, with the hamstring, is on the PUP list. So is John Williams, the last pick of the draft for us, offensive line. He's got problems with his back. He's on the PUP list. But man, I guess one of the last throws that Jordan Love did, he must have clunked his left hand on someone's helmet, damaged some ligaments, and now he has to have surgery on his left thumb. And it kind of came out, today's Wednesday, so yesterday was Tuesday. There was a press conference by Brian Gutekunst, the GM, and then there was a press conference by Matt LaFleur. But Brian came right out and he said, I don't think anyone knew it at the time. And all of a sudden, here it is. It's like, oh yeah, well, he's just got a little something. He won't be playing the rest of the week. And everyone's like, what? Like, what happened to Jordan? And it was just kind of like, oh, okay. And then I could kind of feel like the whole media room is like, oh, okay, let me get some questions about this. So they kind of drilled Brian about it, but Jordan won't play for a while. They say a short period. Now you can tell me what that is in your mind, but I would think that is at least a week, if not 2 weeks. Maybe it's the whole preseason. Who knows how these things work and how they heal over time, but that worries me. What I'm not worried about is the backup quarterback in Malik Willis. I think he's great. He's outstanding. I'm glad we have him, but again, Ren, Jordan Love is a bit banged up. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, that was one of the things a couple guys on the beat did mention in the Monday practice, which was not open to the public but open to the media, that he had gone over to Matt and the trainer, and they were really looking at stuff, and they're all like, "Huh, it's not normal, right?" They're looking at something with Jordan, and he was apparently handing the ball off with his right hand, and it was kind of clunky, different things like that. But he could have gutted it out, according to Goody, and they could have gone other ways. But I think, yeah, they made the right decision, as Brian said in the presser, that he thinks it's the right decision by Jordan. Just to let's get it cleaned up, let's get it done right away. We're still enough weeks out that he'll be ready to go week one against the Lions. But not having that time with guys, Tay, it's just you're never a fan of that. Obviously, these guys generally don't play a lot in the preseason games as it is, so that's not the end of the world. Some people expect them maybe even to be back for that last joint practice next week. I'd be surprised. How do you get a bit of a surgery and already you're back in practice? I suppose if you're in the red jersey, it's not as much as obviously playing in a preseason game, but nonetheless, again, him not being there is not great. He's there in the rest of the context of, with the guys, with the playbook, with all the rest of the stuff. So that's fine. But the real reps are still important in my mind, and missing a couple weeks, when you're trying to get things together is, not something you want to have happen with your starting quarterback. So, and then speaking of that, I mean, the wide receivers, we went from depth on depth after the 2025 draft day. Who, what is this going to look like? Could we keep 7? Right now, Watson's not available. Wicks hasn't been around the whole camp. Now Reed's in the boot. Dobbs leaves practice today with a back injury, and then Savion did some nice things in practice today, I heard, but he's been limited out throughout the most piece. And I know they brought in another guy today, but that was on the practice squad last year with the Packers, if you want to find that name. But
Kawan Baker.
What's that?
Kawan Baker.
Kawan Baker. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they have enough guys to dress that, Melton's going to have to play both ways, these preseason games. I'm not saying he's going to, but man, oh man, it's just one thing after another with these wide receivers. And then you look at Hobbs not playing the rest of the preseason. McKinney's not going to play the rest of the preseason.
Nope.
Musgrave and Lucas Van Ness ran into each other at today's practice or yesterday's, and both had to go to their separate sides and get seen by the trainer. I mean, it's like, goodness, let's just get out of this thing without anything else that's severe, and I guess get to week one and we'll worry about it from there.
Yeah, I mean, the wide receivers thing is frustrating because we thought we were stacked. We were in, and now all of our top guys are mostly out. Matthew Golden, obviously, you don't want to pressure him into having an injury or something too prematurely. You have guys like Isaiah Nayor, who just signed, Malik Heath, who I don't really like. There's Cornelius Johnson, Julian Hicks, Mecole Hardman, but it's like these were camp bodies anyway. Like, what are you doing with these guys? And I guess that's just what you have to do. You're practicing as a team. You're going into Indianapolis as a team, and you got to make it work. But it's just frustrating to see these guys not be able to play for us. And then running back situation too. Emmanuel Wilson, his knee was injured and banged up, but he did return today. And then you have a couple injuries on the running back position group. So now what do you do? Well, they signed former third round draft pick for the 49ers, Tyrion Davis-Price. So him, and then you have Marshawn Lloyd, who is back in practice now. He's got a chance to step up and really showcase what we've been all missing, right? All last year, not available. So he's a second-year player who's got to prove himself, and here's his chance. So you really love the opportunity for him. But there's another couple guys that are going to be played. Wilson, maybe they don't play him heavily now that they have a few backup guys. Brooks, I think he's healthy, so he can be sprinkled in there. But
was not a fan of his performance against the Jets. Saturday night. I'll tell you that. I mean, I just didn't see much out of Chris Brooks and thought he had an opportunity to really, put his stamp on potential roster spot. But yeah, as mentioned, man, at least they got Rashid back today, Lloyd, like you mentioned, Emmanuel Wilson, and Kamal Hatton. It's good to see finally some names come off because this thing was getting a little too long. I don't know if we're looking at third and fourth string all day come noon on Saturday in Indy. So man, oh man.
When I look at the running back group, obviously we know number one, but you probably only keep on the roster no more than 3 max. So you're looking at Wilson, Brooks, and Lloyd, and based on injuries, of course. And I think Lloyd can basically. His only problem is his only problem is to lose the roster spot. I think between Brooks and Wilson, based on injury, those guys would make it if Lloyd wasn't around. So I just feel like it is it is wide open when it comes to injuries for the running back group, and these guys have massive opportunity, and I really want to see a lot out of the running backs this Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was Andy Herman was talking about today, like the whole, bunch of those guys on the beat were just glowing about Lloyd again today, and I just want to see that, man. I just want to see this this talent that we hasn't been unlocked, and I want to see it in the regular season. Like, is it going to ever happen? Because you just wonder at this point, like, when are we going to get healthy Marshawn Lloyd and get to see the untapped potential this kid really has that everybody talks about? So.
It's true. It's like you kind of like you're always hearing his name, but you never see him, and you're like, okay, I don't even think it exists anymore. When we were at practice that third day, we were looking for him, right? We were like scanning, and I was like, I don't see him. And then I saw him way over there talking to Jacobs, and I was like, okay, he does exist. He is here. But I hope to see some Marshawn Lloyd this weekend, and just. Let's knock on some wood that he remains healthy through the preseason so he can showcase his talents and make the roster, like a starting roster. I would love that.
I mean, if he's healthy, Tay, there's no reason he won't.
Right.
As he's talked about, he's such a dynamic talent. If you get to pair that actually in a game in, game out basis with Josh Jacobs, I mean, they'll be cooking with gas at the running back position. But, it's just a wait and see game at this point.
So today was no practice. They're probably traveling, I guess, and they would spend the night in Indianapolis tonight and get up tomorrow morning. And by 3 p.m., they're practicing, joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. I guess I don't remember what has happened in the past with joint practices that aren't here in Lambeau. Do we get to see them in any way, shape, or form? Do we have to follow the Colts beat writers to see this? I don't know, like, where we'll hear this. I mean, maybe some of the Packer beat writers will be there, and that's probably the case. So hopefully we'll get some communication with that and be able to see maybe some video from our friend of the podcast, Rob Domofsky, or some of the other guys. But I'm looking forward to that, just to kind of see the vibe that we bring even to the joint practice, and then obviously the preseason game coming up after this loss to the Jets. I mean, you got to bounce back, right? You can't, if you're at level 0, you can only go up.
Yep. It's only the arrow can only go up from here, I would say, Tay. No doubt.
So Indianapolis game on Saturday, that is at noon. There's a noon tilt, which is going to be weird. I guess maybe it'll be the heat of the day. You're sitting there inside watching some TV. Unless you got some cool setup outside in your garage or barrage.
I would be doing something outside, and maybe Wayne joins me outside on the radio, but I'm not sitting in a nice August summer afternoon watching some Packer preseason football. I'm just not gonna do it. So not that I won't take it in some way, shape, or form, but yeah, not gonna waste those waning summer days we have here in Wisconsin.
Right on. I don't blame you. Yeah, I think maybe tuning in on the radio it might be kind of nice for a change. Does it give you that kind of summer baseball feel, Ren, when you listen to Wayne and Larry outside in the hot summer?
No, it just makes me feel like fall, Tay, because I often listen to it in the radio in the fall too. So it doesn't do that for me. And unfortunately, baseball on the radio will never quite be what it was, without our man Bob Euchre. But still do like the radio call, but been watching more on the TV these days with that broadcast. So
right on. Are we? I'm not changing the subject here from the Packers, but are the Brewers legit? Like,
oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
People like myself who like don't dabble in that. Like, yeah, we love Wisconsin teams, but should I be paying attention now? Should I get on the bandwagon?
You should. Anybody that is not on the bandwagon should be on it today, because they, for the first time in their history, in my 40 some odd years, they have a pitching staff, and you need great pitching to win a championship. They have that, and they do all the other things on offense the right way. They're managed the right way, so they check all the boxes, offensively, defensively, from a starting pitching standpoint, from a bullpen standpoint, closing standpoint. They've got it all, man. They are the real deal, and they're fun, and they play for the power of friendship, Tay. So one of their monikers. So
wow,
got to get behind it, Tay. Yes.
Jeez. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Ren with the Brewers update. When the Packers are down, the Brewers are up.
They can both win at the same time, Tay. It's happened to cities like Boston before. Why can't it happen? Or in Massachusetts? Why can't it happen to us? Why can't we win both in 1 year? Why not? Why not us?
Why not us?
Who would have thought, Tay? Why not?
Great stuff, Ren. All right. Well, I don't got any more. Let's get out of here, Ren. I appreciate everyone watching the live stream, subscribing to YouTube, following us on the podcast, all our social media. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Ren, thanks for joining me tonight.
Absolutely, Tay. We could tell them we'd be on for a first take after the Colts game. Glad we didn't do it after the Jets game, because that'd be a waste of everybody's time. But until episode 324, Tay, on the Pup List.